The Houston Texans have signed former Cardinals safety Tyrann Mathieu to a one-year deal worth $7 million. A little bit less money than what I thought he was going to take, but my reasoning behind that, my thought process behind that is that he's going to play 1 year with the Texans, probably hit free agency again, and then cash out that year. So let's talk about this move real quick, because it's kind of a big deal. It is a big deal, I guess I should say. I wanted Tyrann Mathieu on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Unfortunately, it did not happen. Oh well, but let's move on from that. We're talking about the Texans right now. So what does this mean for the Texans? Well, I've talked about some of their moves recently that they've been making. They got Aaron Colvin more recently, and now they've got Tyrann Mathieu. And what's kind of a revamping of the secondary, they have Jonathan Joseph back, which I thought was huge. And now they've got Tyrann Mathieu as well. That's not a bad that's not a bad couple of pieces to your secondary. Add in the fact that you have Whitney Mercilus, you have Jadeveon Clowney, you have Bernardrick McKinney, and another middle linebacker, Zach Cunningham, is that his name? As well as J.J. Watt. Speaking of J.J. Watt, you know, so you have Whitney Mercilus, Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, Bernardrick McKinney, Zach Cunningham, you have Tyrann Mathieu now, you have Aaron Colvin, you have Jonathan Joseph. This is a pretty decent looking Texans defense, in my opinion. When you look at the offense of the Houston Texans now, you have Deshaun Watson, Lamar Miller, Deontay Foreman. You have some pretty good pieces at wide receiver with, obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller. Braxton Miller might be able to do some stuff. You have a pretty okay offensive line. Texans are looking like a pretty decent team for like a AFC playoff position. You know, I could see them really going toe to toe, and this is all about winning the division. You know, so are they going to be able to keep pace with the Jacksonville Jaguars? I think they have a good chance of it. You know, maybe the Jaguars take a step back this year. Obviously, they had a lot of young talent who performed very well, very much exceeded expectations in my opinion. So maybe now they kind of take a step back. And maybe the Texans can come in and capitalize, you know. Maybe Tyrann Mathieu gets a deal done in the middle of this upcoming season. You know, hopefully the Texans have enough money to keep him. They might have to cut ties with a guy like they'll probably have enough money. I was gonna say maybe they'll have to cut ties with a guy like Whitney Mercilus, maybe, but honestly, I think they'll keep him. And the guy's still young. Tyrann Mathieu's only, I believe, 25. That's insanely good. You know, you're still having him at a phenomenal age where he can still be a franchise cornerstone for your defense for many years to come. Obviously, J.J. Watt's getting a little bit older. You have Jadeveon Clowney still there. And you have Tyrann Mathieu now and Aaron Colvin to kind of solidify your defense for the next few years, while a couple of guys are getting older and kind of slowing down a bit. So I really like this move by the Texans. I think it was a move that really really adds to their core, and I imagine they'll definitely want to keep Tyrann Mathieu on a long deal. I think they can probably do it. It all just depends on whether or not Tyrann Mathieu. It'll really depend on if the Texans go to the playoffs or not next season. If Tyrann Mathieu will stay with the Houston Texans, because he wants. I think last I heard was that he wanted to be used. He wanted to be a good fit, and he wanted to join a team with pretty much winning capabilities, I guess you could say. You know, it wasn't necessarily the most money, but it was more speaking on the level of I want to go to like a winner. And I think Texans can be a playoff team. You know, it's not a hard sell for the Houston Texans if you're trying to appeal to Tyrann Mathieu's agent. You know, Deshaun Watson, that's huge. Deshaun Watson looked phenomenal before he got injured. So I think that was a really big part in saying like, hey, we're probably going to at least get a wild card spot next year, let alone we might even win the division. Just come help us out, you know, like come help us get to that point. And I think now that the Texans are firmly in place to get at least a wild card spot potentially. They're at least stuck in that discussion. Them versus the Jaguars, who's going to win the division, that's going to be a very interesting battle to see, because I think the Texans could do it if you get Deshaun Watson fully healthy and he can stay healthy. If you're the Houston Texans now, you've really got to focus on your offensive line. I think that's pretty much what they have left to look at. Maybe obviously some depth at certain positions, but if you can work a little bit more on that offensive line, maybe work a little bit more at the running back position and get maybe another weapon or two for Deshaun Watson, maybe the tight end position. I know that's kind of a big deal. You just kind of got to go back to the offense now and work on that a little bit more. You'll be rolling. So, Texans fans, let me know in the comments section below if you did like this move, and if you did, go ahead and subscribe. And did you like the move? Did you hate the move? Again, let me know in the comment section below. And for the rest of you NFL fans, don't worry. I'm going to be trying to cover all the major moves that your teams do throughout this offseason. And Bucs fans, don't worry. I've got a Chandler Cat and Zaro video coming up soon. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.